Your sister's the real writer." My mother's voice rang out across the bookstore as she tossed my manuscripts into the decorative fireplace. Flames swallowed 3 years of work while stunned guests looked on in horror. "My name is Emma Sullivan. This was supposed to be the proudest day of my life. My first book launch." I stood still, phone silently recording in my pocket, as my mother raged. "Sophie has real talent. You just got lucky with your silly little stories. She deserves that contract. Not you." The irony. Sophie, my younger sister, had never finished a single thing in her life, not even her half-completed English degree. Let me rewind. I'm 28. I've been writing since I was old enough to grip a pencil. While other kids played outside, I filled notebooks with made-up worlds. My parents never paid attention. Until last month, when my debut novel landed a 6-figure publishing deal. Suddenly they cared. But not in the way I hoped. "Sophie's been struggling," my mom had said over family dinner. "She's thinking of getting back into writing. Maybe you could share your contract with her. Let her write one of the books in your series." I nearly choked. "That's not how publishing works, Mom." "Don't be selfish," my dad added. "You've got your teaching job. Sophie needs this more than you." And now here we were. My mother publicly burning my work, accusing me of stealing Sophie's childhood ideas. "These stories are inspired by our family," she shrieked to the stunned crowd. "Sophie told me Emma stole them. That contract belongs to my real writer daughter." I almost laughed. The only thing Sophie had ever inspired in my stories was what not to do. "Enough." A crisp voice cut through the chaos. My literary agent, Catherine Williams, stepped forward. "Security, remove Mrs. Sullivan. And someone call the police." My mother paled. "This is a family matter. Emma, tell them to stop." Finally spoke, voice calm. "No, Mum. You made it public. Actions have consequences." As she was escorted out, my father appeared. "Princess, your mom's just emotional. Sophie's had a hard time." Catherine cut him off. "Mr. Sullivan, I suggest you leave too. Your daughter's publisher will contact you about damages." Phones recorded everything. Whispers rippled through the guests. My launch had become a viral disaster. But oddly I felt free. After years of being the reliable sister, the one who sacrificed, I was done. "Emma, are you okay?" Marcus, my publisher, asked gently. I stopped the recording and smiled. "I'm fine. And I got it all." Catherine beamed. "Smart girl. But your manuscripts." Now I smiled wider. "Those were old drafts. The real ones are safe. Including the next 2 books." The look on everyone's faces. Priceless. They expected a breakdown. They got backup plans. Because after surviving this family, I'd learned never to come unprepared. My phone buzzed, Sophie calling. I hit decline. "Now," I said to Marcus. "Shall we salvage this launch?" He grinned. "This is going to make one hell of a story." Guests began to settle. I caught my reflection in the bookstore window. I looked different, stronger. My mother tried to destroy my dream, but all she did was burn her illusion of control. My phone kept buzzing. Messages from family. Guilt trips, demands, calls for peace. But I was done being the one who understood, the one who forgave. Sometimes the best revenge is letting people show the world who they truly are. Catherine nudged me. "Ready to face your readers? They'll have questions." I nodded, adjusting my jacket. "I'm ready. Every story needs a turning point. This is mine." The next morning I woke to a media storm. The video had gone viral. My phone was overflowing. News, tags, messages from other authors. People who'd also faced family sabotage. Catherine called early, giddy. "Emma, your book just hit #1 on Amazon. Pre-orders are exploding." I skimmed the headlines. Author's mother burns manuscripts in shocking book launch drama. Family sabotage backfires. Debut novel soars. Sister rivalry turns fiery at literary event. 3 networks wanted interviews. My book had become a symbol, Not just a novel, but a story of resilience. The doorbell rang. Flowers from my old writing group. Your mother lit a fire, just not the one she planned. They were right. A text buzzed in from Sophie. Mom's devastated. I stared at the screen. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel the need to respond. How could you let them arrest her? This is all your fault. I hadn't pressed charges, but Marcus, my publisher, had other ideas. While the police released my mother with a warning, he was pursuing legal action for destruction of intellectual property and disruption of a commercial event. Another text came through. She was only trying to help me. You know, I've always wanted to be a writer. I thought of Sophie's abandoned blog, her half-finished stories, the creative writing classes she dropped after 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I'd written my novel during lunch breaks and late nights after teaching full-time. Every sentence had been earned, through exhaustion, rejection, and grit. Then the landline rang. My parents' last resort since I'd blocked their numbers. I let it go to voicemail. Emma, honey. My father's voice cracked. Your mother's not eating. She's devastated. The neighbors are talking. Please. Can't we handle this as a family? As a family. That phrase, their favorite tool of guilt, pulled out whenever they needed me to bend, to make peace, to put Sophie first. Again. Just then, my laptop pinged with an email from Marcus. Emma, the publicity team wants to lean into this moment. An author's note about your journey, and the incident, could connect deeply with readers. They're calling you the Phoenix author. We also got a call from a documentary filmmaker. I was about to reply when Catherine called. Turn on Channel 5. Now. There she was, my mother on the local news. Perfect pearls. Makeup just right. Crying. I only wanted what was best for both my daughters, she sobbed. Emma's always been so lucky. And Sophie, she just needed a chance. As a mother, I had to try. I muted the TV. The performance was immaculate. Still trying to control the story. Still casting herself as the misunderstood martyr. My phone buzzed again. A message from my high school English teacher. Saw the news. Remember when your mom skipped your first writing award to attend Sophie's dance recital? Some things never change. Stay strong. She was right. Nothing had changed. Except me. I opened my laptop, not to work on my next novel, but to write something for myself. Dear Mom and Dad. For years, I dimmed my light to help Sophie shine. Every success came with guilt. Every accomplishment with pressure to share it. But here's what you never understood. My stories were never about the family. They were about escaping it. You didn't create a writer when you burned my manuscripts. You freed one. I didn't send it. I didn't need to. The next morning, Publishers Weekly announced that my book had shattered pre-sale records. Sometimes, the article read, an author's real story is more powerful than their fiction. My phone buzzed again. Sophie. Call number 20. This time I answered. How dare you do this to our family, she snapped. Mom's a wreck, Dad's furious, and my friends keep sending me that video. I stayed calm. Sophie, I have to go. The documentary team is waiting. Documentary. About what? About how Mom's attempt to burn my future only made it brighter. Blick. I felt lighter than I had in years. The fire hadn't destroyed me. It had purified something I didn't realize needed burning. The need to keep pleasing them. Marcus had been right. This would make one hell of a story. But it wasn't over yet. 3 months later, my life was unrecognizable. Phoenix Rising, a novel about a woman freeing herself from toxic family expectations, had spent 8 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. The documentary, Rite of Passage, was generating Oscar buzz. But the real victory? Silence. No more family dinners, no more emotional blackmail, no more bending for Sophie. That peace was interrupted by an email from my father. Your mother hasn't been well. The video won't stop circulating. She's afraid to leave the house. Sophie lost her job after her boss saw the news. We're having a family meeting tonight at 7. Please come home. Help us fix this. Ed. I almost deleted it. But something stopped me. This wasn't about giving in. This was about letting them sit with the consequences. For once. At 7:05, I walked into my childhood home. The scent of chocolate chip cookies hung in the air. Mom's crisis baking. They were already at the dining room table. Mom looked smaller. Dad tried his old authoritative stance. Sophie glared. You've ruined everything, Sophie hissed. Let me speak, Dad said, raising a hand. He turned to me. Princess, this has to stop. The interviews, the book, the documentary. It's destroying our family. People are calling your mother the book burner. Sophie's life is in shambles. I took a sip of the water Mom had nervously placed in front of me. Interesting. I finally told them the truth. You care more about your reputation than what you actually did. Mom's eyes flared. I was protecting Sophie, she snapped. You've always had everything so easy. Kept my voice calm but firm. Easy. Let's talk about easy. I worked full-time while writing my novel. I gave up vacations to attend workshops. And while I was grinding, Sophie was finding herself in Europe, on your dime. I built my career while you were busy funding Sophie's next fresh start. But she needed. Mom tried again. No, I cut her off. She wanted. There's a difference. I reached into my bag, pulled out my phone and hit play. There on video was Sophie, clearly drunk at a bar weeks before my launch. My sister thinks she's special with her little book deal, she slurred to her friends. But Mom's going to fix that. We'll make her share it with me. She always gives in. The color drained from Sophie's face. Where did you get that? She whispered. One of your friends sent it to me after the launch. Apparently not everyone thinks family sabotage is charming. Dad leaned forward, desperate now. What do you want, Emma? Money. We can pay you to stop the documentary. I laughed. Actually laughed. I made more from my advance than you made last year, Dad. This isn't about money. It's about accountability. I stood up and smoothed my skirt. The documentary premieres next month. You're all welcome to attend. Who knows? Maybe seeing yourselves through the world's eyes will be educational. You can't do this to us, Sophie whispered. We're family. Family doesn't burn each other's dreams, I said. But you did teach me something. Every good story needs fire. I turned to leave. Then Mom's voice, smaller now. I read your book. Pause. The main character, she said, hesitating. The one who rises from the ashes. That's you, isn't it? I turned back one last time. No, Mom. That was fiction. This me walking away, succeeding despite you. This is real. The documentary premiered to critical acclaim. My family didn't attend, but they couldn't escape it. It wasn't just about the manuscripts. It was about family dysfunction, creative survival, and breaking free from toxic support systems. 6 months later, my second book, Burning Pages, a memoir, was released. In the acknowledgments, I thanked my mother. Not for her support, but for showing me exactly what I didn't want to become. Sophie eventually found a new job. Last I heard, she even started writing, actually writing, not just talking about it. Mom and Dad sold the house and moved to Florida. Probably to escape the neighbors who couldn't forget their viral moment. As for me, I bought a beautiful house. Has a library and a view. But no fireplace. Some memories don't deserve physical reminders. Then yesterday a package arrived. Inside, a handmade book of old family photos, and a handwritten note from Mom. I didn't understand your fire, because I spent so long extinguishing my own. I'm sorry it took losing you to see that. I placed the book on a shelf. Not as a peace offering accepted, but as a quiet marker of how far I've come. Because sometimes the happy ending isn't forgiveness. It's the strength to write your own story, even when others try to burn the pages. My phone buzzed. Another interview request. They wanted to know about my next novel. It's about a phoenix, I said. But this time she's not just rising from the ashes. She's lighting the way for others to fly. Some fires destroy. Others illuminate. And I finally learned the difference.